had to, one of those introspective moments, and I said, okay, T, well, what happened that night? What could you have done differently? What did you do that may have contributed to you being in that position where you were stabbed? And so being able to take some ownership and some accountability and being responsible and saying, okay, well, maybe if I did this differently, or maybe if I hadn't done that, that my outcome might be different, was one of the hardest things that I had to do. But it was also one of the most rewarding and powerful things that I could do, because it was empowering not to victimize myself and to say that, you know, this happened to me, or I don't know if I'm coming across clear exactly what I'm trying to say.
It is super clear. What I'm getting from it is just by taking ownership of your part in the entire situation actually allowed you to feel empowered.
Exactly.
Too often when we point fingers and say it was that person's fault, they did it to me, it leads to a feeling of disempowerment. And what you're saying is, even though it was hard to hear your mom say, like, look, you know, you may have had a role in this, for you to have that moment of introspection to say, you know what, maybe I did. And if so, now I can take that ownership. So that's just so powerful.
And it also lends to my ability to, one of the biggest things I got from this as well, is it's just the power of forgiveness.
Oh, speak on that. Speak on that, please.
Not only being able to forgive the person who assaulted me, and you know, it doesn't mean you guys have to be friends or anything like that. But for the longest time, when I was angry at God and the world and everything, and why me, I had this really dark, just negative cloud that just, you know, would just weigh down on my chest. But the power of forgiveness and being able to forgive that person who's done you wrong, and not only that, but the power to be able to forgive yourself, was absolutely liberating. It was liberating beyond measure.
Come on,
and
now.
I think that was something that also helped me to get through, and something that I still deal with currently. And there's so much power in forgiveness. I mean, as a Christian, number one, you know, we should always forgive. But when you actually do it and let go and let God and release it, it's so liberating. It's I don't know.
Even if you don't have the words for it, I can hear it and I can feel it. Yeah, just how light it feels, right? Like, it's just like this release that you no longer need to hold on to that poison for that other person or yourself. I'm going to go back to what you were saying too, because even when you take that ownership, there's a sense of, we were talking not too long ago in my spiritual community about the whole concept of we are all co-creators. And when I thought about it, it was like, whoa, you mean every circumstance that I'm in, I'm co-creating? Like, even if it doesn't feel good to me.
Right.
And then when you get to that realization of, yes, you are co-creating everything that you are a part of, that means two things. A, there's ownership. B, there's a lesson to be learned in everything.
Definitely.
And that's what I heard from you.
Definitely. And there's a lot of positive that we can take away from negative things that happen to us. I think that's important to keep in mind whenever anybody is dealing with grief or dealing with loss. There's always something so much more positive that we can take from the situation. We just have to allow ourselves to be open to that possibility. Space and time.
Absolutely. Yes. And speaking of two things, we're kind of running short on time, so I want to make sure I get through these last two couple things. In terms of time, nowness, presentness, what have you done to just kind of, maybe when your thoughts start taking you back to those moments, or when you start thinking about the what ifs in the future, how do you bring yourself back to the present moment to just be grounded in the now?
Well, one, which is partly a defense mechanism, is avoidance.
We'll go with it. No judgment here, brother.
I try to avoid those thoughts.
Mm-hmm.
I try to avoid them because sometimes they do put me in a very dark place.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, just really understanding what my current purpose is and how much better I am off now than I was because of what I went through. So it just goes back to taking the positive from the situation.
So it's part avoidance, but part reminding yourself as to why you are here and why those things may have happened to you.
Exactly. What your purpose is. What do I do now? Who am I now? What purpose do I serve now?
Mm-hmm.
It's funny because I used to always ask God, to use me.
Like,
dang, bro, you don't have to use me like this.
Like this, right? I mean, maybe I should have put some conditions on this thing.
Right. Exactly. It just also goes back to it being bigger than me.
Right.
And not being about me, but what I can contribute to the lives of others based on what I've gone through and what I've learned through my circumstances.
Mm-hmm.
How I can inspire somebody else. How I can lift somebody else up when I see that they're going through something. You don't have to understand exactly what they're going through, but you never know. I definitely don't take things for granted, and people say that when they go through life-changing circumstances like that.
Mm-hmm.
But you just really realize, like, little small things. You walk in the hallway and saying hello to somebody could have and smiling and passing on that positive energy to them could change their entire day, could change the way that person is feeling. So I think about quote unquote small things, but they have so much more significance to me now.
Mm-hmm.
So when I get in those dark places, I just try to continue to persevere. I always remember what MLK said, and I have kind of like a vision board or a black chalkboard in my kitchen. In which I write positive quotes and like affirmations, and I love like the law of attraction and The Secret.
Yes.
And one of the things I have written up here is, that MLK said he said, if you can't fly, then run. If you can't run, then walk. If you can't walk, then crawl. But whatever you do, keep moving forward. Keep moving forward. And then to go in line with that, another quote that I have up here is about faith.
Mm-hmm.
And it says, you don't have to see the whole staircase. Just take the first step. Just take the first step. You don't have to see the whole picture. You don't have to know where it's going to end up or how it's going to end up.
Mm-hmm.
But just keep moving forward and take that first step. And you'll be surprised at the power that it has and how empowering it can be. And just like when I told you when we first started this conversation, after looking over some of the stuff, I said, I'm kind of really proud of myself.
Right, yeah.
I've been through some shit, I've been through a lot, and I'm continuing to deal and cope with it. But at the end of the day, I wouldn't change it for the world.
Man, I'm so inspired by you, and it's amazing because you never know the impact, like you said, that you have on other people. Whether it's a smile or saying hello, even if like somebody's younger than you or they've just been through something completely different, you can always impact people, even without saying anything, even just from afar. You're just such an inspiration. So I love your light, I love your energy, I love your attitude and your honesty and your vulnerability. And even I think those two quotes sum up this entire interview perfectly. So if they wanted to follow you in any way on social media or anywhere, is that even possible? Are you exclusive? What's up?
They can reach out to me. I'm on IG at King TP, the Phoenix. I often think about the phoenix that rose from the ashes. It's still I rise, right? Exactly. That's yep. Go ahead, Michelangelo.
Yes.
Still I rise. That's it, brother.
Yep. And rise, you continue to do. I just want to say thank you so much from the bottom of my heart for just opening up and sharing your story. I truly believe that you will touch and reach so many people with your story, as you already have and continue to do. You emanate love and light and care and compassion, and I just appreciate you for who you are.
That's what it's about. I appreciate that, man. That's why I love you, man. Like I said, this is all bigger than us.
It is.
And I appreciate the work that you're doing as well, man.
Thank you. Well, look, y'all, thank you so much for tuning in. Be sure to tune in to the next episode of From Mourning to Action, Powerfully Working Through Loss. This is your host, Dr. Damon Silas, signing off with my boy TP. And we will catch y'all on the next one. Peace, love, and light, y'all. From Mourning to Action, Powerfully Working Through Loss is a podcast based on Dr. Damon Silas's 2 books. The first is From Mourning Tonight, Overcoming Loss, and the second one is What's Your Action Plan? 6 powerful ways to get unstuck in your life now. Be sure to check those 2 books out on the website www.damonsilaspsychology.com/store. You can also go on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, or wherever you can find any books and check that book out there. Furthermore, if you like what you hear, feel free to leave a review, and I'm always looking for guests. So please feel free to send an email to damon@tippingpointwellnessllc.com. And as always, thanks for tuning in. Peace, love, and light, y'all.